Up on the housetop, out jumps good old Santa Claus. Down through the chimney with lots of toys, all for the little ones' Christmas joys. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Up on the housetop, click, click, click. Down through the chimney with good Santa. Whoa, good. Ba-bow. And let's not loop that again. Hello everybody. Wait, and no looping the same song again. Hey, there we go. And let me put on, I know, by the way, this is just some Christmassy vibes. I'm here to celebrate everyone. If you don't celebrate Christmas, that's awesome. I'm not even into the religious aspect of Christmas, but I like Christmassy stuff, so we're listening to Christmassy music, and that's what's about to happen right now. And then I'm gonna say hi to everyone, but I'm gonna put on some Christmassy music. Wait, there we go. There we go. Got some jazzy stuff. Hello everybody. Sorry, I just like to vibe out with the music. Let me just turn it down just a little bit so I can actually think while we hang out. Turn it down just a hair. Sorry, I gotta adjust because I'm like, I gotta be able to actually like hear myself think while music is going on. Hello everybody. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Corey, Michelle, that other Ted, Julie, Echo 12356, Go to the Gozerian, Sleepyhead, Wellington Smith. By the way, everyone give, I know I saw him in here just a second ago, Just Another Broke Nerd. Please, everyone send some love to Just Another Broke Nerd, because I know he had a surgery. I saw on Twitter that he had a surgery just a few days ago. So I just want to send love to Just Another Broke Nerd, who is absolutely lovely and an amazing and wonderful part of this community, and helped me build the computer that I'm currently using. So if you like my stuff, you better thank Just Another Broke Nerd, because I wouldn't even have a computer without him. So please send some love his way, because he is absolutely wonderful and amazing, and I just want to make sure I called that out. Hey, Aeronaut, good to see you as well. Speaking of wonderful people, I mean, so many of you are wonderful people, but especially Aeronaut, I'm excited to see you. How is everyone doing this fine December 2nd, I guess it is? By the way, I should say, for those of you who may be new to our, to this stream, what this basically is, folks, is that, if I can think, sorry, the Christmas music's, like, distracting my brain. I may actually need to turn it off at some point, because I'll be like, I can't think while it's going on. Actually, I am gonna do that, because I need to be able to, like, sorry, Christmasy, you're too Christmassy. I can't, like, think with you there. Turn it down a little bit. There we go. I'll keep it on a little bit, but it's still fairly low. Anyways, for those of you who are new to my live streams, every Thursday I do a chat stream where I just hang out with all of you and we discuss whatever all of you want to talk about. So if you have questions for me, topics that you want me to discuss, I go for about an hour and I just discuss anything that you all want me to do. Super chats are appreciated. Obviously, if you give a super chat, I give you a heart, send you my love, and answer your question and sort of give it a little bit of priority, though I do try to also pay attention to the chat going on as well. And yeah, those help me pay the bills. They help feed me. They help me buy Christmas presents for folks. So if you do super chats, they are greatly appreciated, and I do love them, but I love everyone. And yeah, that's just what this is. So yeah, I think that is everything. So what does everyone wish to talk about today? Christmas, Selkie, Christmas canceled. Sorry. No, I mean, like I said, I'm not a big religious person. I'm agnostic, for anyone who cares to wonder. So I just like the Christmassy vibes. I like the Christmassy vibes, not necessarily the religious aspect of it. And obviously, of course, I'm gonna have to turn this music off because it's gonna distract me. I can't think with it going on, so I'm stopping the music, unfortunately. But let me turn on the other sounding stuff. Yeah, I'll put on my spacey music. Just because that way I can actually think, because the Christmas music just distracts my brain too much. Yes, I would say Just Another Broken Nerd. Disco talk is still off limits just for now. even though people are able to watch it now because it has gone international, but not for everybody, and most people don't get it until Friday. So we shouldn't talk about new episodes, at least until Friday. So maybe on like Saturday streams, like the gaming stream, we can talk some disco. But for Thursdays, we'll try and keep it a little bit off limits other than like the, prior seasons, things like that. Jessie Rambles is still good. So I've been away a lot, dealing with a lot of stuff. Oh, Molly, I'm sorry that you've been dealing with that. Sending you love. I hope you're doing well. It's totally okay. I'm glad to see you here, though. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You are absolutely lovely, my friend. Foreign man in a foreign land. Hey, by the way, foreign man in a foreign land. Number one, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. I saw your video on Caribbean stereotypes. I was actually at the dentist earlier today, so I was getting my mouth. My face is still a little bit numb. But I was doing getting some fillings because I'm bad with my teeth. And I was listening to your video while I was getting my teeth drilled. So you were definitely a great distraction and a great video, by the way. Please go watch Foreign Men in Foreign Lands. Excellent video on Caribbean stereotypes in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Really, really good and very well done and hilarious as always, while also being incredibly funny, or incredibly insightful as well. So, Foreign Man in Foreign Land, you are lovely, and I freaking adored that video. Sending eerie vibes. How is the improv going? Going good. Like I said, I have my improv class right after this. We're doing a show. How to describe this? So the improv class that I'm taking is long form improv. It's not just like, hey, we're doing an improv random thing. It's trying to take a show that tells a full story over the course of an hour long show rather than it's just little improv scenes. So it's actually really helpful for me to be able to do stuff like that, because I'm planning on doing, I'll announce a little bit more about this later, but that might be an ongoing show that I'm going to be a part of. And also it just helps me with ongoing ideas and things for my own videos and stuff like that. So it's been going really well. And our show is going to be, it's going to be towards the end of this month, and it's going to be interesting because the whole concept is I think the idea that we're trying to go for is Pixar, worlds come alive. So Cars or Bug's Life, where it's the world that you didn't realize was actually a world. And so we're trying to figure out that as our long form story life, anthropomorphized stuff. And obviously it's improv, so we'll get a suggestion from people of what was the rats in the subway was one that we did as a practice version of the show. So it's a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. I just love improv. It hones my skills as a comedian, but also a storyteller, and also just gets me social. I love it. So thank you for asking, Foreign Man in a Foreign Land. You are absolutely lovely. Oh, Rowan, you got the season 1 of Lower Decks. Yes, season 1 Blu-ray today. Yes, hell yes. My only issue with the Lower Decks Blu-ray is there's no commentary track. My favorite things, the things that I buy DVD, I don't really watch much DVDs or Blu-rays anymore. But the things that I do buy them for are for the commentary tracks. And the Lower Decks Blu-ray, I don't think had any commentary tracks, which is unfortunate. The Discovery ones, the Star Trek Discovery, and I think Picard did as well, had some maybe Picard didn't. But I just like listening to the director's commentary or writer's commentary, actor's commentary, because that's where you get the most insight and stuff. And it feels the most off the cuff and natural. But yeah, that was one big disappointment. But I hope you enjoyed the Lower Decks Blu-ray. That sounds wonderful. Oh, speaking of which, I almost forgot. I have some people sent me some Christmas gifts, and because I had to open up my mail, because I was looking for something else that was coming in the mail, I wanted to show people the Christmas gifts that they gave me. I think I know some of them are from Jedi and Indiana Jones, but other people have sent me some stuff too, so I wanted to at least call it out and show them. So I'll show them in just a second, but I want to quick answer some of the super chats that people have already given me. Let me just quick get here. Vale? Oh, heart to you, Vale. It's good to see you. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. You said, hey, Jessie, I just wanted to spread a little December time love and let you know that you're a beautiful human being. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope your December time is amazing. I hope your December time is amazing, too, Vale. You're absolutely lovely and absolutely amazing. I adore you. It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Mwah. Heart to you, heart to both you and Corey, you lovely, lovely humans. Two of my favorite. Corey and Vale are two of my favorite people, and I adore them, and they are wonderful, and thank you so much, Vale. Mwah. I adore you. Favorite Christmassy movie? Miracle on 34th Street. Easily. That's not normally I take a minute to think of suggestions, but Miracle on 34th Street is my classic holiday movie. I used to like Home Alone, but then I rewatched it last year and I was like, I'm a little down on it nowadays just because I know them so well. But Elf is also fantastic. But I think probably Miracle on 34th Street. It's like Miracle on 34th Street has like just that right amount of like sappiness and like Christmas spirit, and that like it's also a legal drama at one point too, which like I love legal dramas. They're one of my favorite genres, just because like it fits my logic-y brain. I like logic puzzle stuff, so legal dramas have it. And then it also like is in weird ways, like it is a bit aggrandizing of Macy's, so there's that, but also a little bit anti-capitalist is in there as well. So it's like, I don't know, I like Miracle on 34th Street. It's just like I think it's such a warm movie for me, and it probably is my personal favorite. I adore it. Nightmare Before Christmas is a great movie, but it is a Thanksgiving movie. That's my argument. Nightmare Before Christmas, perfect Thanksgiving movie. Perfect Thanksgiving movie. Right, Corey, it would be a fun improv show. You said I would love to do an improv show like that. Keats Cast, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, hey, Jessie, I'm quitting my career that I worked for 10 years to focus on mental health and school. Yes, it is terrifying and would love support. Yes, Keats Cat. Can we all send some love to Keats Cat? Terrifying thing to do. I didn't quit my career, but I quit my job to do YouTube full time. And so far it's working out decently well. But it is a scary choice, so I know what you're going through. But focusing on mental health and school and like learning and educating and like growing yourself, like hell yes, like that is the best choice. I hate that capitalism forces us to like have to work to be able to just survive, but like honestly, at the end of the day, like focus on what makes you happy. We only get one life, as they say, and it's best to like pursue your happiness and pursue your like for yourself. So yes, Keats Cat, hell yes. I don't know if you're working at a corporation, but like screw them. They're probably terrible if you're leaving for mental health. So screw them. Screw like the big corporations. Screw like the people who just want you to work against like your own desires and work against your own like needs just to survive. Like when we could live in a society that could support everyone. So Keats Cast, you are amazing, and I send you all the love. So thank you so much for the super chat. But I'm also thank you so much for more pursuing your own mental health and yourself. That is much more important, my lovely friend. Oh, you got the COVID booster, Molly. Molly, I want to ask you, if you got the COVID booster, tell me. I am getting my COVID booster next week, either next week or the week after. It's whatever Tuesday it is. So I'm like, oh gosh, I might have to go through that sickness again. I mean, I'm glad to do it. Happy to do the booster. Don't wanna get the Omicron Persei 8 variant. So I'm getting the booster. It's totally cool. I'm just like, I don't want to go through that sickness again. But again, well worth doing it. Well worth doing it. I will take that over anything. Oh, and I love you too, Corey. Alex Miller, speaking of boosters, Alex Miller, heart to you. You are lovely. You said, just took my booster, so I'm woozy and watching the last disco episode. But hey, Jessie, well, thank you so much for the super chat. And yes, watch that episode. I won't spoil, but one thing I will say about this season of Discovery, without directly spoiling for anybody, is they are very much evoking trans culture, I guess I want to say, and trans issues and trans themes this season, and also like queer found family this season as well. And you have no idea. Like legitimately, it means so freaking much to me that Star Trek, of all the franchises, like I look out at all the franchises today that are like getting tons of stuff, like Marvel, and I'm actually gonna cry a little bit at this, Marvel and Star Wars and all these other big franchises that I really love, and they don't, and I do love those shows, but they don't always reflect me. And it means so much to me that Star Trek, which is a franchise that has been so true to my heart and foundational to my morals, that of all the franchises that are front and center depicting trans issues and depicting trans people and depicting trans themes, that Star Trek of all of them is the one to do it. And it's not perfect by any means. Like, Discovery has buried your gaze several times. But I still appreciate that they always try to do better and they always push to do better. And it was a franchise that for so long seemed so scared of depicting LGBTQ issues, looking at Rick Berman, that for today to just be able to just simultaneously center and show trans issues while also making them feel normalized and just part of this future world of humanity, it means so much to me. And it, like every single time I see it, it just breaks my heart in a wonderful and beautiful way, and I just am so happy with that. Sorry that was a sidetrack from you, Alex, but it's just something I've been wanting to say, and I've been trying to say it a lot in my videos, but it's like, it's legitimately, it's meant a lot to me. And I see people saying like, yeah, it's Star Trek is now queerer than it used to be, and I'm here for it, right? Star Trek Discovery is hella queer, and it makes me so happy. I just adore it. Praise be to Michelle Paradise. Absolutely wonderful. Like, I have issues with Star Trek Discovery. Certainly do. I do not. I'm done with the mystery boxes, for example. But in many aspects, I think that it's succeeding, and it makes me so pleased. Yeah. So there we go. Catching up a little bit. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Oh, Captain Omni, thank you so much. Heart to you. You are lovely. You said, I'm currently creating a non-binary character for a novel I'm writing who will be a Superman-level character. Non-binary myself, but what do you think we need more ultra-powerful... non-binary trans superheroes? Yes, 100%. Like, the only one that immediately comes to my mind that's gotten, like, any representation is Dreamer on Supergirl. And now Supergirl is off the air, so we don't even have Dreamer. We definitely do, and I think there's, like, so many... I think there's so many things that, like, a trans superhero could really add to a superhero story, like ideas of identity, which are so, like, inherent to superherodom. Like, superheroes are always about, like, identity and coming out and things like that, right? So there's always been, like, a queer element of superheroes right from the beginning. I mean, they wear their underwear on their outside. How the hell have they not been overtly queer? But I think also, like, non-binary people, you can really, like, tell great stories. I mean, I mentioned this earlier, but there's a wonderful book that I have in the other room called, I can't remember. People remind me. There's not your sidekick, which is a trans mask superhero, which is a really good one. But what's the other? Dreadnought. Dreadnought is the one. If you haven't read Dreadnought, it is a great superhero story. Right, Gozer? Dreadnought movie when? 100%. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want my Dreadnought movie. Legitimately, like, there's a character who's like a TERF in that, and it's all about, like, idealized bodies and how we idealize certain bodies, but then the complexities of that. And I think it's like there's this wonderful, interesting idea of, like, how superheroes are supposed to be, like, these representations of, like, Superman's like Superman is the ideal version of, like, what society wants men to be, right? And so I think that there's this interesting idea that Dreadnought brings up. I don't think Dreadnought analyzes it enough, but I think it would be cool if it eventually did, where it's like, oh, you get to be a superhero and you get, like, your dream body. And in Dreadnought, the whole thing is, like, this trans woman, she gets this ability to, like, transform her body into her idealized body. And it's like this sexy woman that she's always wanted to be. And it's so affirming for her in so many ways. But I'm also sort of like, what does that mean to be this idealized body as a trans person and transitioning? I just think there's so many questions about, like, body and strength and gender that you could tie into superheroes. And I really think there's some cool stuff there. So I 100% agree. 100% agree. All right, catching up on the super chats and other things. Oh, I never saw Scrooge. I need to see Scrooge. Oh, excuse me. Two movies that I've never seen. Christmas movie that I've never seen is Jingle All the Way, which is the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. I never saw that, and I never saw Scrooge. And I've been meaning to watch that, so I'm actually going to write that down. Because I never saw Scrooge. Because I actually been meaning to watch, and I see people referencing that. Excuse me. Woo! Let's see. What about... KJ Izana, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. And you said, what about the 1982 holiday special, The Snowman? I've never seen that one, so I actually don't know. The Snowman. I'll write it down. Of course, it better not be the, what was that terrible? It was also called, I think it was also called The Snowman, but it was like a really terrible movie starring Michael Fassbender a few years ago that was like a murder mystery stuff, which was sad because I love movies set in wintertime, like Arctic movies. So, like, Werewolves Within was a good example. The Thing is a great horror movie that's set there, set during that. There was one with Jeremy Renner a few years ago that was really good. I just love The Grey is also a good one. I love movies set in, like, an Arctic environment. It's such a unique environment that I think we should... I know, Corey, I haven't seen you Scrooged. I'm sorry. I have seen Arthur Christmas. Arthur Christmas is great. But yeah, I just like Arctic stuff. Simon, I agree. I like mystery boxes, but not all the time. Not all the time. I'm fine with a mystery box here and there. Like, I think the early Doctor Who seasons, like the early modern Doctor Who seasons that did mystery boxes were actually kind of fun. And I didn't mind the Red Angel mystery. I didn't like the resolution as much, but, like, I like the idea of the Red Angel. Like, mystery boxes can work. just not every single time on every single season, and you have to make the mystery ultimately pay off in the end. You can't just have it be an ancillary thing. Like, it has to actually have an answer that feels satisfying and built up. But I don't mind the mystery box idea. But I mean, Lost is a whole other question. I love Lost, but ultimately I think, like, I liked how some of those answers paid off. Some people didn't, and I think that was a decently effective use of the mystery box. But they're obviously didn't work for everybody. That's a very contentious example I just used, to be honest. Lost is definitely a contentious one. Dash Fat Bastard, heart to you. It's good to see you, by the way. You're learning the Herald Improv. XLNT, you are totally wired for it. I took it from Second City in the 90s, changed my life. Wish my happy birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Dash! Happy birthday! And yeah, I love long form improv. One of my favorite improv shows I ever saw was Jet City Improv, which is actually where I'm getting my classes here in Seattle. But I saw a few years ago at Jet City Improv, which is an improv group just here in Seattle. They did a show about Game of Thrones, a Game of Thrones improv show, and it was so clever because of how they set it up, where you got to the way they did it is they had characters that were pre-established, right? Like, each person had a character, and there was 4 houses, and there were 2 characters to each house, and they each had their distinct personality that the improvisers had when they started the improv. But at the beginning of every show, they would give one person in the audience a crown, and one person in the audience, I think, like a staff or something, and whoever then the audience member would give one of the characters the crown, and whoever was the crown was the king of the land, and whoever got the staff had magical powers, and then they would, like, bounce off of each other in that way. And they would have, like, specific scenes that, like, the first scene was, like, just the house members, and then they would go off with other characters. It was just, like, it was a great way to do improv that was, like, structured and able to build a story around it, and yet also each time you went to see it was completely different. I saw that show, like, 5 or 6 different times, so the improvisers were so good, and the stories they made, I'm like, I would watch a fantasy series like this that wasn't, like, specifically Game of Thrones. It was just a very good show, and I think that might be my favorite form of improv, where where it's not just like, we're gonna do a random thing based on suggestions, but it's like there's some structure to it, and then you, like, inject improvisational elements into an already pre-established structure. And I think that's just, like, I think it's a really good and fun way to do comedy, and I really love it, and it really helps. It really helps your brain come up with better stories and, like, think in a story mindset. And so I think that it's just really, if you ever need help, like, coming up with story ideas, like, improv, go do improv, watch improv, because it, like, really helps your mind thinking and how to structure stories really well. Stephen Fenn, heart to you. Thank you so much. You said, hey, Jessie, sorry for missing that last few weeks, but I made this one. Well, good. I'm glad you're here, but don't worry. Don't feel bad about missing it. Mwah, I'm glad you're here. It's totally okay. Heart to you, punk rock zoologist. It's good to see you. You said, hey, Jessie, Merry Xmas. Be prepared for another packet of Tim Tams in the next few weeks. I hope everyone is doing well. They're often stressful, but also fun time of year. You are all lovely people. Yes, I agree, punk rock zoologist. Also, punk rock zoologist is a podcaster who does a Deep Space Nine podcast, which is also really wonderful, which you should check out. But yes, I meant to have them on screen, but it just kept getting busy and I kept missing it. But I had the Tim Tams. They were all lovely, except for there was one that I think was the orange one that you sent me. But for those of you who aren't aware, I've never had Tim Tams. I know they're popular outside of the United States. I had never had them, and some punk rock zoologist had sent them to me, and I tried them for the first time. I meant to do it on camera, but just for reasons I forgot to, and it sort of missed off. But I loved all the ones you sent me, except for the orange ones, which were the nastiest thing I have ever had in my life. Those orange Tim Tams, I like orange. They were disgusting. But the rest I loved. They were great. I like Tim Tams. They're wonderful. But dear gosh, send me more of the orange Tim Tams, punk rock zoologist, because I like eating. I'm a weirdo, and I like tasting interesting things. It's fascinating. I'm a weirdo like that. Whenever there's, like, something bad taste, I'm like, this is interesting, and I like just trying it. I'm like one of those weirdos that just enjoys doing stuff like that. And I believe with that, make sure. Send me Jaffa cakes. I've never had Jaffa cakes either. I'm trying to see. Okay, I think I'm all caught up on Super Chat. So I'm back at the main part of the chat. So I'm all caught up there. Right? It does sound fantastic, Dash. I'm assuming you're referring to the Game of Thrones improv. It was really, really good. Let's see. Talking about Stephen Moffat. Yeah, Jet City is a very good. I've been, like I said, I've been seeing Jet City. Unfortunately, Jet City during the pandemic, Jet City had a really nice theater, up near University of Washington. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, they lost the theater, so now they've been like kind of just jumping around doing their shows, which is unfortunate because their theater was really good. They actually had a great theater. It's disappointing because Jet City, I think, is like some of the most creative improv here in Seattle. Seattle's not like known for improv, to be honest. It's not like a big improv like center, but it does have a lot of really good improv groups. Like there's a good improv scene here in Seattle. Surprisingly so. It's not known for it, but it is does definitely exist. Never heard of a Tim Tam. Right? They're like cookies. Like think like Tim Tams are, from what I gathered, they were like they are shaped like a Fig Newton, but they're like a cookie Fig Newton with like a, I don't even know what you describe the outer layer, like a yogurty outer layer, like a tough yogurty like outer layer, and then a cookie in the middle, and it's shaped kind of like a Fig Newton, but it doesn't have like the fruity center. It's more of a cookie center with like a yogurty outside layer. It's like kind of the vibe. It's like the Tim Tam vibe. I think is what's going on with that. It was very good, except for the orange one. Nasty. Hated that. Just right, Catherine and Beth? Yes, I'm like Data. That's a good. I am like Data. I'm like, yes, disgusting. This disgusts me. Would you like some more? Yes, please. I am exactly like Data in Star Trek Generations when it comes to that. Saw House of Gucci. I have a feeling I loved it a lot more than the majority. Gaga is my favorite pick for this award season. I haven't seen House of Gucci. I do want to see it. I'm excited to see it. Though there was that whole thing with the director, I'm blanking on his name. He directed The Last Duel recently. What, Ridley Scott? It's Ridley Scott? It was Ridley Scott, right? I want to say it was Ridley Scott. No. Yes. No. Yes. Now I'm not entirely sure. It had to have been Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott, House of Gucci, right? Am I crazy? Yes, it was. Okay, it was Ridley Scott. Good. Okay. Yeah, it was Ridley Scott, and he had that whole thing about The Last Duel, which was like, oh, millennials didn't see it because the only millennials only want to go see movies on their phone now. Dang youths. Which is funny because, like, that's such a weird take. Number one, like, millennials are the ones that I feel like champion that movie the most. To be honest, like, the concept of it was great. I liked seeing this idea of, an incident about, like, sexual assault from different points of view, and how the narrative gets twisted both from a personal view but also in a political way, and also how power gets into it as well. I think it was a really clever concept. I haven't seen the movie, but I really wanted to see it. But it wasn't a movie that was like, oh, I want to risk going to the theater for during a pandemic. So I think that hurt it quite a bit. And it's just like, and also like there is an element of it's like a dude telling a sexual assault movie is like, at least at this point I've seen it enough times to like, I would like a woman to be telling that story, to direct that story, but I'm still in on the concept. But like it just like feels weird because it's like that's not the problem. It wasn't like, oh, only kids want to watch their things on their phone, and also millennials are not like my age. Like I feel like, and this is not a dig at Gen Zers in any way, but I feel like Gen Zers are the ones that are like more like watching things on their phone. Like I'm still of the generation that's like, I would still rather go to a theater. Like, I still watch things on TV. I'll watch things streaming and stuff and have no compunction about it. I'm not, like, very, pretentious in that way. But I feel like I'm even of the mind of, like, hey, I would prefer to see it in the theater. Where I feel like younger generations are possibly a little bit more, like, less so. And I think that that's totally fine. Like, I love theater experiences. But I think, like, there's this pretentiousness to, like, only the theater experience. But I think, like, there's different ways to experience things, and also democratizing. Going to see movies too is important. Like, we never really think about that, but like more people see movies now because they are more freely available and they're more economically viable by sending the people to streaming instead of paying to go see a theater. And you can rent the movie once on Amazon Prime or whatever, and Amazon's a whole other discussion. But you can rent the movie once, and everyone in your family gets to see it, as opposed to like having to go to theater and pay like a ticket for each person. I think that's important to discuss as well. But like, directors are just like, it needs to be the perfect theater experience. And I get a little bit of it. Like, you want people to experience the movie, but like, you can't, if you make a movie, you can't control every single instance of where someone's going to watch it. So just be happy that people are watching it. You know, like, it's your theater, it gets shown in the theater for like a little bit, and then like let people watch it. I don't know. There's an interesting discussion, but you know. Jazz Fat Bastard, by the way, Hart, thank you so much for your super chat. You said, saw Rocky Horror and you just sticked at the Neptune in 78. Yeah. That's where I live. I live near there, without getting too specific about where I live, but I live near where the Neptune is. The Neptune is now, sadly, I think, an AMC theater, which is upsetting. It is a movie theater that I go to fairly regularly. But yeah, the Neptune sadly no longer exists here in Seattle. So what are you going to do? Millennials started turning, yeah, right? Millennials started turning 40 this year. So, like, I'm old. I'm going to turn 30 in 2022. So, like, I'm old at this point. I don't even know why you're listening to me. I'm going to die soon is really the thing. Like, it's just all the youths now. Like, I'm seeing, that makes me feel old, too. Like I've just been feeling that. I know I'm not old. I know there are many of you that are older, but I'm just, like, I'm starting to feel it. Just like, yeah, I'm not the young generation anymore, you know? It is what it is. That's just how life goes, right? And I think it's interesting because it gives you interesting perspectives. I just can't wait until I get to, when's the age when I can start saying, terrible, like, things and no one cares? It's like, that's grandma. Let grandma just say the terrible stuff. When's that crossover happen when people stop caring? No, I'm kidding. Hopefully I'm never that. I want to be like the cool grandma and be like, you kids do whatever you want. I'll just bake you cookies. Hi, some of us are already... Look, again, I'm not calling anyone old. Age is but a number, really. Like, all that matters when it comes to age is, like, how much you let it affect you in terms of your mental stuff and also health. Like, it really is less important to talk about age and really more important to talk about, like, health, how healthy you are, which there are people who are 90 who are probably healthier than people who are in their 30s or 20s, you know? So ultimately that's part of it. And then just, like, you know, what mindset you put yourself in when you consider yourself, like, old or, like, having ageism in either direction. And so I really don't think that there's necessarily any, like, I do subscribe a little bit to the idea of age is but a number. I just think it's, like, mindset and also health. I think of the two discussions. And obviously age can play into health, in terms of, like, stuff, but I also think it's just, like, taking care of yourself in whatever way you see fit for your body and everything like that. So there you go. Don't make me destroy you. I'm 47. Sorry, Knit and Crochet Tiger. Well, I love you. I'm so sorry. Catherine Lambeth, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, you're going to be an awesome old lady, Jessie. Thank you very much. I hope so. I want to be the cool old lady. You know, we're going to live to, like, 160, and I'm just going to be, like, just sitting there, just being like, Rrr! You kids, let me tell you, back when I was watching things on my phone, I was watching The Last Duel as a kid. I don't know, I'm, like, suddenly an old miner. That's what I sound like, a miner. I'm like I'm old and looking for gold. You kids, you don't know what it's like to look for gold. I'm weird. Thank you for dealing with me. Peter, I apologize. I'm probably going to mispronounce your name, so I do apologize. Peter Ruani? Or Ruan? Peter Ruan? Apologies if I mispronounced that. You said, being old isn't a matter of a number, it's just when you have good knees and bad knees. It's true. To be fair, I actually do have... Oh, and by the way, heart to you. I did give you a heart. I actually do have bad knees. My family has a history of bad knees, and I can already tell that I'm going to have knee problems. They're not like... I'm not, like, horrible, but I can already tell, like, it hurts a little bit during the cold and when I walk upstairs, so... And I'm feeling that at 30, so I'm a little younger than 30, so I'm already feeling it, so... Yeah, and it's just a family thing, so I do know that it's going to be a thing. My grandmother had to get rods in her knees and, like, just get her knee replaced and everything, so probably will happen to me. It is an age, not an age thing, it's a family thing, so what are you going to do? Old Man McGucket! Oh my god, Old Man McGucket, best character in Gravity Falls. I'm Old Man McGucket. I loved Old Man McGucket. Oh my gosh. Wonderful. Wonderful character. Gravity Falls. That show in some respects didn't age perfectly, especially when it came to gender stuff. I don't think the gender aspect of like how they depicted gender, like there's a character who's like possibly read as trans in that series, and like the joke of her is that she's like gender nonconforming, like she just like has a deep voice, and that's kind of the joke. And so I'm like, there's some elements of Gravity Falls that have not aged super well, but it is such a great show. I love the aesthetic and the world building and the jokes and humor of that series. Such a wonderful, wonderful show. Again, not perfect, but definitely a show that I really, really enjoyed. Oh, and Black Clover, you got 10 more left. You're catching up. Have you literally watched all of my videos, Black Clover 95, except for 10? That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh my gosh. Though, thank you for that. Jessie did a lot better than almost every teacher I had growing up in Canada. I am sorry. I know I'm not great at pronouncing names. I miss. If any of you watch any of my videos and reviews and things, y'all know that I'm terrible at pronouncing things. I can't pronounce things for crap. It's just a thing of my brain. But I also feel bad about it because I don't ever want to like make anyone feel like I'm insulting them with that. And also especially like I'm like the whitest human being ever. So I also understand that like the way that I was raised, like I did not, this is not an excuse. It's just a thing. That like I wasn't taught how to pronounce like names from other cultures as well, and that's like that's a big thing in America. It's like we're never gonna learn how to pronounce other people's names, which is super racist and just shows like the inherent like subtle racism throughout our society. But it is something like my brain just cannot cognitive like how to pronounce things, and so I feel bad when I mispronounce names from people, especially people from other cultures and other countries that I just can't pronounce, so and other backgrounds. So I do want to just always apologize about that. It's something that is something that I try to take very seriously, especially as a trans person, where names are like so incredibly important to discussions. So it's something I always just really try to think about. So seriously, got my last name perfect and did a decent job on the first. Pedar is Irish for Peter. Pedar? Try my best. But I'm sending you love. You are absolutely wonderful. Let's see. I can't wait to see what Alex Hirsch does next. Alex Hirsch just, Movie Meister. Alex Hirsch just did that show. It's on Netflix that I actually really enjoyed. I watched the first season. It was about conspiracy theories. Inside Job. I just watched it. It's on Netflix. On Netflix, but the show was good. I really liked Inside Job. Not sure how I feel about like promoting conspiracy theories, even in like a joking way, considering how harmful they are nowadays with like things like QAnon and stuff and Flat Earth and things like that. But that being said, the show was funny. So yeah, maybe it's worth poking at that stuff. So I don't know, but it was really, really good. Have you watched season 2 of Owl House yet? I have, and it was excellent. I'm really upset that show got canceled. Owl House is so good. Number one, best non-binary representation I've seen. And I say that even as someone, like, I love Star Trek Discovery. The casualness with which they represent a non-binary person in Owl House, perfection. Absolute freaking perfection. I have no notes. Great. Absolutely great. And Owl House season 2 is just so wonderful. I won't spoil for people, but like the final, I think it was the final episode of what's been released so far. The episode where she sees her mother. I won't say more than that. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful, beautiful. Broke my heart, and such a wonderful show. I keep saying this over and over and over again, but I truly believe that like where representation is being pushed forward for like just anything, and also where storytelling is being pushed forward, is consistently in animation and children's media. I honestly think that so much of the best storytelling today is being done in children's media and animation. I look at like Star Trek Lower Decks. I mean, even in franchises, like a lot of the stuff that Star Wars is building off of right now came from things like the Clone Wars and Rebels, like, and now the live action shows like, oh, that stuff was good. Let's pick up on that with like Mandalorian and Ahsoka series and all that jazz. Star Trek Lower Decks, I think, is great. Prodigy has a lot of potential. I'm not 100% there yet, but it has so much potential. Owl House, She-Ra, Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts, What was the other show that I just ended up watching? Gravity Falls, obviously. Troll Hunters and the Tales of Arcadia series. These are all shows that are so thoughtful and interesting and build out their lore in an interesting way. I really do believe that the best stories are now coming from children's animation and just animation in general. Arcane wasn't a children's show, but Arcane was an animated show, and it's the best. Between Arcane and Castlevania, those two are the best, the absolute best video game adaptations ever made. League of Legends and Castlevania. So Arcane. If people say that video game adaptations can't be good, I say go watch Castlevania and Arcane and tell me that, because those are fantastic. I don't have much hope for the after the trailer. I don't have much hope for the Uncharted movie. I'm looking forward to it a little bit because I do like that vibe. I do like the action adventure, like Indiana Jones type of thing, and Tom Holland is wonderful. But that movie, I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous on Uncharted. We'll see how that eventually goes out. But yeah, I think animation is really where things are being pushed forward. Mac the Knife. Heart to you. Jedi Indiana Jones is here. Oh, perfect. Some of the gifts I know are from Jedi Indiana Jones, so I was actually waiting to see if Jedi was here. But let me say, Mac the Knife. Hi, Jessie. Super late, but happy to be here, though I should be doing homework. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Jack the Knife. It's good to see you. Heart to you, my lovely friend. Mwah, 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 mwah. You are lovely. And thank you so much for the super chat. Also, I just want to quick say, Dragon Prince, also very good. Yes, and obviously Avatar and Korra and all that stuff, also great. But before we get much further, I do want to just quickly, because Jedi Indiana Jones, you sent me some Christmas gifts, and I think other people did too. And I had to open them because I don't know, when I get things in my mailbox, I don't know what is what. I would have tried to save it for opening on stream, but I want to at least share that I had to open them because I was looking for something that was coming in the mail. I'm waiting for my 100K subscriber plaque from YouTube, is essentially what I'm looking for. I ordered it, and because they give you one for free, and it hasn't come, and I'm a little bit worried it got lost in the mail. So I might have to reorder one, because I've been waiting to do a 100K thank you video for hitting 100K until that plaque came in, and it's still not here. So I've been looking for that. But Jedi, I want to say thank you for your gifts. So I don't know who gave me what. So Jedi, if anyone else gave me Christmas gifts, call it out. And Jedi, just let me know what you gave me, because I want to specifically thank you for them. If you are the person who sent me these, please let yourself be known, because I want to say thank you, because all of these are really cool and I think they're awesome. Someone gave me this really awesome Star Trek watch, which I don't wear a ton of watches, but I'm going to wear this. And then also, I have some ideas already for how I'm going to use it in some videos and stuff as like a prop. So thank you so much for this. I really appreciate this. This is really, really cool. It's a really, really, look at that. Like, I just want to be decked out now. Like, I'm just gonna be all Star Trek all the time at this point, is really how this is gonna be in my life at this point. But thank you for that. This one I'm 99% sure was from Jedi. And we're gonna do this on a stream at some point. But I'm not gonna do it now because I have a class to go to. But I think Jedi gave me this. The California Reaper Challenge, which is like peanuts covered in like supremely hot stuff. 10 minutes to finish the entire tube by only eating 1 or 2 peanuts. You have 5 minutes until so this is gonna be done. This is gonna be done on stream. I don't know if this was you, Jedi Indiana Jones, but I think it was, because you did like a video I saw that was like this. So we're gonna do this on stream. It's gonna be interesting, but we're gonna do that on stream. I promise we'll get that probably some point this month. So that'll be fun. People, if any of you ever want to send me stuff like that, don't poison anything. But seriously, like, as long as the thing is sealed when I get it, just so I can trust that I'm like it's safe for me to eat. If anyone wants to send me interesting food, please do, because I like trying interesting food, even if it's bad tasting. If something's bad tasting, I'm still here for it. Please. August Brown, you think you can handle that? I can handle it, Jedi and Jones. Like I said, we'll do it. But I'm not gonna promise it'll be a good live stream, but I promise it'll be a live stream. And then I didn't open this all the way because I'm like, oh, I see what it is, and I just want to make sure I open it on camera. But someone gave me really, really cool Star Trek collector's cards celebrating commemorating 30 years of Star Trek. So this is from 20 years ago, and I think it has everyone up till Janeway. on there. No Archer, sadly, but this is just a really cool card. And then someone sent me a letter. I'm not gonna read it out right away, just to make sure. I'm gonna see if this is. I want to see who. Thank you. Let's see. Aww. Oh, this is so sweet. TC, whoever you are, TC, I just will say thank you so much for this. This is really, really cool. I think this is awesome. Thank you, TC. I won't read out your letter because it's very, very personal. But thank you. I really appreciate that. This is, oh, there's stuff on the back. Oh, it's just a description of every captain. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much for this, and it was very sweet. This was very sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Sorry, that was a very nice letter. And speaking of nice letters, I got another nice letter from somebody. I won't show what it was, but you can recognize if you recognize your handwriting. I got this letter. This was also very sweet. This letter meant a lot to me. I honestly, when I read it, it meant a lot to me. So if you're, let me see if I can remember the person's name on here. Katie, thank you for this. I really appreciate this letter. Actually, really meant a lot to me when I saw it. And then let's see. I also got a letter. This one does not have a name on it. Let me just make sure it's not on the cover. But whoever sent me this postcard, thank you for that. This was also incredibly sweet. And your note that you wrote on the back that I won't share was also super, super sweet. You didn't give me your name, which is totally cool. So whoever you are, thank you for this. I thought this was really wonderful. And have a good night, Emily Chambers. And Chloe, I see your super chat. I'll get to it in just a second. I just want to quick thank people for these. Let's see. And this is for something else, actually. I don't want to show that here. And then 2 other things that I got. I think these are from Jedi. And thank you, Jedi, for these. I think these are from you. I'm not 100%, but I think these are from you. Sushi Go? I've been wanting this game for forever. I played it at a friend's house, and I loved Sushi Go. Also, it's sushi, because sushi is my favorite thing. So, thank you so much for this. If it was not you, Jedi, then whoever gave me this, but I think it was you, Jedi. Thank you for this. This is so cool. I'm actually very excited to play it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then someone gave me an order of Jessie, Earl trans bookmarks, which, hell yes, I needed new bookmarks. So thank you for these. I really appreciated that. These are so cool. It has my name on them and everything. So, yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Those are wonderful. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, the Sushi Go is a lot of fun. I played it Sword. It was really, really good. But Chloe, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, just had to deal with a transphobic Dave, I'm assuming Dave Chappelle fan as a customer. Glad to know they're as insufferable in person as they are online. Yeah, I mean, we can have this whole long conversation. I won't get into it too much, and thank you for the super chat, Chloe. The thing that I tried to discuss this in the video a little bit too when it comes to Dave Chappelle, is like, there are people who just use Dave Chappelle normalizing transphobia as a way to just be like jerks. And I mean, I've already seen it. Like, there's apologies, I'm going to use this, but like he describes like trans women bleeding from vaginas as like beet juice as opposed to like menstrual blood. Which in some context could be funny. Not very many, but it's a whatever joke. But I see people already using that now to use it as an excuse of being transphobic. It's like use it in an insulting way, and just saying, well, it's just a joke. Dave Chappelle did it. You're just too sensitive. And it just shows the correlation between people who like Dave Chappelle's rhetoric normalizing bigotry against trans people. Like, that's the problem with his jokes, is even if they weren't intention on, and we can talk about his intention because there's a lot more I want to talk about with Dave Chappelle. I might even do a video on it, considering his like stop off at his old high school. So that's a whole other discussion. But whether he intended to or not, he normalized anti-trans rhetoric. His jokes were just stuff that I hear leveled at me as bigotry every day, right? That's what was frustrating. But there is the other side of that coin, to a degree that I do have some empathy for, not for him, especially at this point. But the reason I try to be so empathetic to Dave Chappelle and to other anti-trans people every once in a while is not for their sake, especially at certain points in the conversation at this point. I do it because there are people who do look up to Dave Chappelle, who do see Dave Chappelle as like, oh, he was a great comedian, meant a lot to me as a kid, as well they should. I mean, the man did a lot of really great work. He was a black man working on Comedy Central who got as big as he got, and there's certainly elements to his story that I understand resonate with people. And on that front, when they look at someone like Dave Chappelle, even if they're trying to be trans-affirming, there are people who care about trans people, like trans people, but maybe don't know a lot about trans people, so they look at Dave Chappelle and are like, well, he's saying it. He's someone I look up to, so these are okay things to say. And so that's why that's the element of the coin where I do try to be somewhat empathetic towards Dave Chappelle. Never, and sometimes even people like TERFs, especially TERFs. TERFs, fuck them. I hate TERFs. They're awful. They're awful people, and they're directly harming the trans community. But I do try to show empathy towards where they come from, not for their sake, because screw them, but because there are people for which their rhetoric is convincing. And I want to try to get in there and say, no. I understand why you might think this rhetoric is understandable or acceptable, but it's not, and here's why. And that's just a tactical thing. And again, there's definitely a need for people to say, screw Dave Chappelle, screw these things, and just state that outright. And I will do that from time to time, but when I try to make videos like about Dave Chappelle and stuff, I try to start from a place of being like, where would someone who doesn't know anything about trans people start, and bring them to understand the issues. And I not to aggrandize myself, because sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail, but I think the way the Dave Chappelle video that I did worked was it did get attention from people who were outside of the trans community. I got asked to do a bunch of panels and stuff and be on podcasts and stuff, which were two people that did not understand trans issues. And I think that's an interesting tactical way to do it. Again, I don't think it's the only tactic. It's not the only thing that we should be doing. But it is a tactic that I wish to use, and I know it's a hard line to walk, because I also sometimes I think it's sometimes too easy. I'm not too easy. Easy is the wrong word. Sometimes I think it's dangerous to walk that line. I mean, I was one of the last people to call out J.K. Rowling for her crap. I eventually did, and I made a bunch of videos on it, as you know. But I did to me a while. There's an article I wrote for The Advocate 3 or 4 years ago, before J.K. Rowling officially came out as a full TERF, where I said, it was a plea, it was an open letter to J.K. Rowling, where I literally said, these things are wrong, but I'm trying to reach out as a quote unquote friend. I mean, I was a fan, obviously she didn't know me, but it was trying to be like, you're someone I look up to, please don't do this, and trying to come at it from a kinder point of view. At this point, screw J.K. Rowling, especially after this whole doxing thing, which pisses me right off, which again, might be I haven't had time this week. I've been wanting to do a video on it, but this whole doxing thing with J.K. Rowling has me very angry. Very angry. And if I didn't have other work to do and things that I had wanted to put my energy towards more, I would have done a video on it, but this week has been busy, and I do not work on transphobe schedules. I work on my own schedule, and if my schedule fits transphobes, the nonsense, then I'll do it, but if I have more important things to do, then I won't do it. And it's just one of those things that I just hate reactionary stuff. I will react to it if I can, like what I did with the Dave Chappelle thing. But, oh gosh, to give a brief thing about this, and I'll do a whole, again, if I have the time, I'll do a video on this, because I know Black Cover you're asking, and for people who don't know, basically what happened was there were some trans people who protested outside of one of J.K. Rowling's publicly known homes. It was a publicly known home. It's a home that is on tours. People can tour to see this house. It's a publicly known place for J.K. Rowling to be. And they protested outside of her home, as people do to figures who are typically bigots. People protest outside of Republican figures, Republicans' houses. Ted Cruz his house was protested out after the freeze in Texas last year, after the power went out. And there's a difference between politicians and fiction writers, that's for sure. But she is a public figure using her platform to attack trans people, so people are going to protest her because she deserves that. She deserves to be protested. And so they took a picture outside her home with her address in view. There was the address. They took a picture outside of her home. Now, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to say that they were 100% right in doing that, in posting a picture with her address on it. And to be honest, it might have been an accident. It might have been something that they weren't even thinking about. They might have just been like, hey, this is a publicly known address, and we're just going to post a picture to prove that we were here. And not thinking about it in a way as oh, we're going to dox her. But they posted the picture online, and J.K. Rowling did a whole tweet thing vilifying trans people in general, saying these trans people came to my house and doxed me, and I felt unsafe and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, without even recognizing that. Again, public figure, this is one of many homes. And so she vilified but the issue was that she didn't just target these specific trans activists, which, by the way, those trans activists got a ton of harassment and were kicked off the internet because of all this, because she rallied up TERFs. But she rallied up people to harass them, but she explicitly, it's just like, it's not understanding the level of dynamic. I have a modicum of sympathy. A modicum of sympathy to be like, as someone who myself was doxxed. I have been doxxed myself. My information, there are sites that have my entire address and all that stuff on there. So I understand it to a degree, but again, there's a different thing between like me as a small-time YouTuber, and even I have a larger platform and ability to protect against stuff, and like J.K. Rowling, who has millions of dollars in multiple homes and multiple things, and so there's just a disproportionate thing. And so she took that opportunity to attack trans people in general. Trans people she's like, you go and look at PragerU and a bunch of other people and a bunch of online stuff. If you look this up, there are people vilifying the entire trans community. Literally, if you go and look at PragerU, which did a video on this event, their thumbnail literally says, if your movement requires people being doxing and harassing, then maybe your movement is good. Again, it's just stating that the whole, she's using this incident, one group of people, whether or not their intentions were to dox or not, even if their intentions were the worst and they were intentionally trying to harm her, she's using that incident to vilify the entirety of a group of people, of trans people who are just people who are trying to exist. And it makes me very angry that constantly gets used, because trans people get that same amount of harassment all the time. I am just a trans person on the internet, and I have been doxxed just for being trans online. I have been harassed for just being trans online, even before I was talking about political issues. So the deliberate missing of how trans people experience the same thing, but always constantly using, like, oh, I've been harassed and gotten death threats, which I do not think are good. I don't think J.K. Rowling deserves to be harassed and gets death threats. She should be shamed and should be criticized and protested, for sure. Harassment and all that, death threats, unacceptable from anywhere. But trans people get it too. And so to just vilify the trans community that way is horrible. So sending harassment at these people is horrible. But even worse, the other thing that pissed me off is that she took the opportunity. If you look at the thread, she listed a bunch of other TERFs, other women who have been doxxed, that she said, like, these are some women that have been doxxed or whatever. And if you look into their history, the women that she stated, and I don't have their names in front of me, but I have a whole list of it, the women that she praised in that tweet were people who have doxxed trans people. They were TERFs who have doxxed trans people before. So in her anti-doxing tirade against the trans community, vilifying all trans people, she supports people who actively dox trans people. So at this point, screw J.K. Rowling. I screw her before. I mean, she's long since lost all my sense of sympathy. But the level of disconnect, of either deliberate horrible actions or cognitive dissonance that she has to have, or like just not caring about trans people as human freaking beings, for her to not understand that the people she platformed have also doxed trans people and harassed trans people. So she's just missing that trans people also get doxed, and at the same time promoting people who actively attack trans people. And it shows to me that she does not view trans people as worthy of the same respect and worthy of the same protections and sense of privacy that she herself claims that she wants for everybody. And she just does not care that trans people get harassed. And again, I have a modicum of sympathy for her if, like, she was doxxed, but there's a different thing with, like, her house is on a guided tour. She has multiple homes and tons of money. And so it just made me so angry. That whole event just pissed me off. Honestly, I might just clip this YouTube. Sorry for this. Sorry, I apologize for doing this whole rant. Thank you so much for indulging me that. I might just take this bit and just clip it out and make this the video, because now I've just said everything that I wanted to say, other than, like, I just want to talk about the specific TERFs that she platformed, so maybe I'll just take this out. Thank you, everybody. I might just clip this and make this my video. So there we go. That saves me the energy of having to do it later. But there you go. It was very horrible. It was horrible. So, thank you for indulging me. that rant, and I hope that it was cathartic for you as it was just for me right now, because I've been wanting to get that off my chest for a while. And I missed some super chats, and I want to quick address them. And I saw Sarah come in here. By the way, good to see you, Sarah. Let me just quick address the super chats, and then I'm going to have to wrap out soon because I got to get to my improv class. But Sean, you said heart to you. You said, hello, I hope you're well, and my hope goes with you. Thank you so much. Again, sorry I had the rant there. I love you, Sean. I appreciate you. You're wonderful. Pidar. Sorry. Pidar Ruane. Again, apologies, I'm stirring your name up, but I adored your attention to nuance, your lack of toxicity, and dealing with issues. Your space online is a refreshing, positive space. Thank you so much. I know I feel bad because I literally just went on an angry rant. I don't like getting angry. I hate it. It's the one thing that really, I mean, there's a lot of things that I hate about it, but like the thing that makes me angry about all of this stuff, the thing that makes me angry about all of this stuff is like, I hate that I have to address it, you know? It's the thing that saddens me the most, because I don't like being angry. You all know me. My belief is in trying to always fight for the betterment of humanity, and I will always have that. And I don't like getting upset at people being terrible and having to talk about people being terrible. It hurts my soul, and I don't love it. And I hate that. I mean, it's a privilege, right? And this is something I'm even just being aware of, like, too. It's like, I was just about to say, like, I hate, as a trans person, I have to deal with that, but that is a privilege, right? That, like, and this is something, like, as a white person, I don't have to get, it's like, oh, I have the privilege to not get angry about, like, things that affect black people, people of color, and that's a problem. And so, honestly, there's a little bit of self-analysis I have to even do myself, but it's just one of those things that's just, like, I think I just hate it for all people that, like, have to deal with bigotry, because it makes us have to, like, it makes us have to be the angry ones all the time when we want to focus on other things. There's the idea of, like, oh, the angry like black person, the angry trans person, like everyone calling me like, you think everything's transphobic. It's like, no, I think there are beautiful, wonderful things. I love Star Trek Discovery. I don't think it's transphobic at all, but I just get painted that way. But again, there's an element of privilege in my own way of saying that, like that white people and cis people and men don't have to think about. Straight people they don't have to get angry. So when they see someone getting angry about bigotry, they see is like, well, why are you getting so upset? I don't have to deal with that. So why are you getting upset? And it's just like, because you're making us. Anyways. So it's just the thing that just like, yeah, it is what it is. All right. John Vinnels, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. It's not, and yeah, justified anger. I know justified anger isn't toxic. There's the thing I was reacting to, Peter, is not you're saying toxic. I don't think my justified anger was toxic. I don't think it is at all. What I do think is positivity. I hate not being positive all the time. It's why I always, in every one of my videos, I always try to end on a hopeful or positive note, even in the darkest videos. It's important to me that I always try to do that. Sometimes I miss on that, but I always try to end positively because that's important to me. It is part of the message that I wish to give to the world. And if I ever make a video that doesn't have a positive ending, please call me out on it, because I always want to keep that as my end goal. And heart to everybody. So yeah, I wasn't saying that my anger is not toxic. I don't think so. But I do think I don't like not being positive. That's the difference. And this is a freaking platform, and this YouTube platform is a platform that like thrives on anger and negativity, right? So one thing is like, I could make a video that would do really well. That's like, screw these people. And it's like, I know the algorithm would do better for me, but that's not what I want to make. I would rather make positive, caring videos. And YouTube, sadly, I mean, no social media really ever strives on that. It strives on making people angry. But you know what? Screw it. I'm not here for the algorithm. I'm here for me and for you and for loving people. And with that, I have to run because I've ranted so much. So speaking of ending on positivity, I have to run for my improv class. But for everyone who gave me Christmas gifts, excuse me. By the way, also, Catherine, I said this to Catherine Lambeth personally, but Catherine also gave me this Stream Deck thing, which I'm going to set up too, so thank you, Catherine Lambeth, for this. So for everyone who gave me Christmas gifts, you are lovely. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, especially your letters. I appreciate the physical gifts. They are wonderful, but your letters are the ones that mean the most to me. I hold on to every letter that I get. I hold on to, and they mean so much to me. And all of you mean so much to me. Every single one of you watching this stream, every single one of you that watches my videos, I absolutely love you and adore you. Jennifer, thank you so much for your super chat. I have to run. Just some quick announcements before we go. There is a video going up tomorrow that is, speaking of like talking about the stuff, it's a video on PragerU, and it's about how, kind of what we were just talking about, not like, it's not dunking on PragerU, though there is an element of that, but it's not dunking on it. It's about showing how conservatives and TERFs and groups like PragerU create transphobia. They are able to generate transphobia out of certain narratives around trans people, out of misinformation. So it's a video about that. It's going to go up tomorrow morning. I was going to do a premiere for it, but I'm going to actually have to be busy tomorrow morning, so I'm not going to do a premiere. It's just going to go up around 10 a.m. Pacific time, so keep an eye out for that. Saturday, we'll be doing our drunk game streaming. We'll be doing some more game streaming Saturday night. So keep a lookout for my stream on Saturday. And I'm very excited to finally announce this. Not this in 3 weeks. So not this week, not next week, but the week after. Will be the biggest video that I've ever done. It is the first video on sex and Star Trek. I'm wrapping it up now. I have gotten over 30 people to be involved in it. I got 3 wonderful contributors, 2 of which were in this chat. I don't know if they're still around, but 2 of them were in this chat. It is a 2.5 hour long video. I made a movie. I think it's one of my best videos that I've ever made. It's coming up in 3 weeks, and I'm very proud of it and very excited about it. And that's going to be my big Christmas video for all of you, and it's a fun video, but also a hard video too, because we're looking at everything when it comes to second Star Trek: the funny stuff, the weird stuff, the strange stuff, and also some of the darker stuff behind the scenes, mainly focusing in on Gene Roddenberry. So it is the first in a series, and it's going to be really exciting. So keep a lookout for that. But first things first, PragerU video on Friday, so keep a lookout for that tomorrow morning. With all that said, I'm going to bid you all adieu. Send you all love. Mwah, my beautiful, lovely people. Never forget that you are wonderful and amazing, and I appreciate you so intensely. And I will see you all. I'll see you all in the comments tomorrow, but I'll see you all on Saturday for the stream. Mwah.